I'm avoiding a legal snag by telling you that you're being recorded, Kevin.
Is it what you've got to do these days?
Yeah. So welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, as we give a little bit of a recap of what's not been going on. Enjoying yourself.
What was that? Am I enjoying myself? I'm getting out from state allowed exercise every day, so yeah. What else can you do? Just got to sit it out and minimise contact with people and kind of do this physical distancing that we're doing now.
Yeah, isolating, and that's the best way to hopefully stop this virus spreading.
Yeah.
Do you find it odd that people are still talking about when the season's going to restart? Like there's some sort of experts on it.
I'm not sure if odd's the right word, because I think it gives people something to talk about. I mean, we're just about to probably fill 5 minutes chatting about it now.
I think what I mean, Kevin, like say the RFL or the Super League or the Premier League and the football meeting to discuss the date that things are going to restart. Why?
There's no point. There's absolutely no point. I think one of the things from my limited knowledge of what's going on is the government is attempting to flatten the curve of it all, which just means that it does go on a little bit longer because there's no spike. And you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but there's no spike in it. It just carries on longer and lets the NHS deal with issues without getting overrun. We said at the end of one of our videos from last week or the week before, when do we think it's going to start? And we said late summer if we're lucky. It's not going to reach a peak and then start dropping, and the government's going to turn around and say, right, you can start mingling. Pubs are all open. You can start go and doing your shopping whenever you want. 10,000 people can pack into the Totally Wicked Stadium, and you can go and watch you play against Wakefield and Salford and Wigan and the likes. It's not just going to be a quick decision.
Which makes me feel that the season's not going to happen. I'm leaning towards that at this moment in time. At the end of the day, the social distancing rules were put in when there was very few deaths, and since then we're losing hundreds of people a day, which is the priority. And until that comes down and we get to a situation better than when the lockdown was enforced, how do we go about getting back to normal life? So, and then you look at it, it's not about when you can start again, it's about when you can finish it as well. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're potentially looking to finish it this year, that limits on how late you can start your season or in the year that you can start it. I don't know, and this isn't unique to rugby league. I think it's going to be football, sport, every sport really. And it could be a case of that life's not going to get back to normal for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a strange one, as you say, like with the physical or social distancing, whatever you want to call it. People are talking about us starting up the season again. And we've got this, you've got to try and leave 2 meters in between people. You see it at the supermarket, you see it, I don't know, wherever you go, there's usually somebody trying to enforce that.
Toronto defence.
Say that again, sorry.
It'd be like the Toronto defence.
Well, it brings you to that. I mean, there's 13 people on each team on a rugby pitch. There's your subs, there's your support staff, there's... where are all these people going to go? Are you going to have to sit your coach in like the North Stand 4 rows away from your assistant coach, who's 4 rows away from your first sub, who's 4? You know what I mean? It starts getting a little bit ludicrous, and it probably is daft to start almost guessing when the season will resume or just be knocked on the head, how it's going to resume, if it does at all, because that's it. We could turn around and say, well, we're just going to play 1 round each. So everything that's gone so far counts. And
that's us in trouble.
Well, it is. But and then you'd get teams like ourselves who would turn around and say, they're not the rules that we started the season by. If we're going to do it, we need to do it properly. Yeah, you could get if we can get going sooner rather than later, yeah, you could possibly turn around and say, well, the Challenge Cup isn't getting played and it gets cancelled as Wimbledon as this year in the tennis. You could turn around and say Magic Weekend is something that could come out, could loop fixtures, but all of a sudden, then clubs lose money. It's a vicious,
the main thing, isn't it? That's why we need the fixtures to be played pretty much in full, is for the money. It looks like probably a lot of the teams in Super League will furlough, fairly. A lot of the staff at the club, whether it's non-playing and playing staff. So at least the players will get a certain amount of income. Obviously, the players on the higher pay will probably lose out a little bit if that ends up being the case. But I think at this moment in time, I think a lot of the players, from what I've read, are happy to make sacrifices in order for the game to actually survive past this year. For me, I don't know. I think I've reset priorities a little bit. Sport's brilliant, and we love sport. But in the grand scheme of things, at this moment in time, it doesn't really matter.
No.
I'm at that point in life where
there's
more important things going on.
It's an important distraction for people. It gives them something to kind of channel a little bit of energy into, or you support it's something to do. It might be a social aspect of your life that, you know what, of a weekend you can't go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but you can go to the rugby. And in that way, to an extent, it is important. But I do agree with what you say, that in the grand scheme of life in general, it's not the most important thing.
Gary Heverington came out with some interesting comments this week, basically saying that player welfare will take a back seat, essentially, and the players will be able to play 3 games a week if that's what is needed.
I'm not sure about these comments. I don't know if I'm interpreting them wrong but the only way I can answer it is how I've interpreted them. He said playing 3 times a week is not a player welfare issue, it's a performance issue. I'd like almost to fast forward into the future and see the Leeds reserves and under-19s need a win to get into the playoffs or to get to a grand final or be in a grand final. And you know what? Someone like Saints, Wigan, Warrington have kept their squads all fit and intact and healthy, and him turn around and say, well, it's not player welfare that I've got a load of people with bumps and bruises who aren't fit to play. I kind of don't get that. It's almost a little bit, I don't know, old school thinking, like a player from the 80s kind of coming up.
Why did we lose Easter Monday then?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's almost like, you know, when players didn't train full time, and when they play on a Sunday, and then they go probably have a good couple of pints and have a couple of pints on the Monday as well, and didn't look after the bodies. The game wasn't as quick. They weren't as strong, as athletic. I don't know. He said it certainly impacts on performance and skill levels, but it demands real character, durability, and resilience. I'm sorry, if you've had a stinger or a head knock, you could have a head knock and miss 4 or 5 games. And I don't want to like kind of push down how serious a head knock is, but usually you'd miss maybe a week, or if you're lucky and your games fall outside that and you play Thursday and Sunday, you might just get away with it. But
is it disrespectful to the players as professional athletes?
In some respects, yeah, you could argue that, yeah, because it's just turning around and saying, get on with it. They're using people, like he said again, I'd be disappointed if I heard people whinging and using player welfare as an issue for playing too many games. It's not about the number of games, it's how quick them games come. You start squashing all them and play 6 games in 2 weeks. I mean, we see, you've just mentioned Easter. We play Good Friday and Easter Monday. Easter Monday isn't the worst game that you get. The worst game you get is the following weekend, when players might have backed up twice. And Justin Holbrook did it right, where he kind of rested a load of players. And I think players only tended to play maybe 1.5 games over them 3. And he could swap his squad around. The players who were fit enough kind of took a little bit more of the brunt, but they then got a rest further on. You can't afford to do that if you're playing 12 games a month.
What it reminds me of, I've just been watching the English Game on Netflix, which is about the creation of English football in the 1880s. And it's got the cotton mill owners, and the cotton mill owners at Blackburn and Darwin, etc. They all cut the wages of the staff and basically say, well, tough, get on with it. If you don't like it, get out of the job. I think it could help Leeds recruitment in the future. If you're a player and you're looking for a new club who wants to look after your welfare, would you choose to go there?
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. You're going to have a look at it, and the players who are on their books might turn around and even say to an agent and say, "Listen, is there somewhere else you can get me here? Whether it be union, whether it be league, whether it be a move down under, chances are like players have done, taken a bit of a pay cut, but just gone for the quality of life." Another quote that I've lifted from our mates over at the Daily Mirror is, I think the winners this year could well be the team that's not the most talented, and instead the team that displays the best character and can-do attitude and will to win. No, it'll be the team who can patch up a side and put a performance in. You can't turn around if someone pulls a hamstring or knocks a shoulder out and say, come on, get your can-do attitude out. You'll be able to play. It doesn't work like that. I don't know if I'm interpreting them wrong, but from what I've read, they just seem a little bit in the past, these thoughts.
And going away from the players, let's get on to the fans. How do you market that game to the fans? We're playing 3 times a week. The quality is going to be crap. But do you know what? We're toughing it out. Come and give us your 25 quid for a ticket anyway. Doesn't work for me.
No, that's it. And not only that, listen, could you turn around to your better half? Could anybody turn around to their better half and say, by the way, love, I'm out Friday night for Saints at home, then I'm at Wakefield away on Tuesday or Wednesday night, then I'm over at Hull KR away on Friday or Saturday. See you later.
I'm going to Everton on the Saturday.
Well, potentially, yeah.
On the Tuesday, because we're playing twice a week in footy as well.
Yeah, does that work? No. I know, listen, we always have the argument, away fans are not the be-all and end-all, but for people are completists, and people do want to go to every game they can and will make that effort. I've no doubt that we would try, but even we'd probably fail.
Yeah, you literally couldn't work your work life, your family life around it. No. You know what? The people who go to even just buy tickets on a weekly basis for the home games will not be able to afford to do it.
Yeah,
it's. I don't get it. It's ridiculous.
Your season ticket holders will be all right because I pay by direct debit for my season ticket, and I'm guessing it's still going out because they're looking at playing the season.
If you paid for your season ticket, you've paid for your season ticket based on a fixture list of we're going to be at home every couple of weeks.
Yeah, rather than Friday, when.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. So do you get offended that? Oh, by the way, Kev, that season ticket you've got now, we're playing 3 times a week now. Well, I can't use it. I didn't buy it on that basis. It's.
Yeah. Well, people will fall under that. I'm lucky that I'm not gonna. I wouldn't fall under that. I probably would be able to go to all the home games. Oh, do I want to go watching? Wait, as I say, if we're playing all these, do I want to go watching Saints half a team and half a reserve team play a Hull KR reserves and under 19s because they're saving the players because they've got Wakefield or Toronto the week after, who they've got, or 3 days later, who they've got to beat to stay up? Am I bothered about seeing that? Not really.
Would it taint the title of whoever won it?
Yeah.
Would you be able to class it was the best team?
Well, going off Gary Hetherington, no, because he's saying I think the winners this year could well be the team that's not the most talented. We already have our problems because we're not a winner takes all, but at least you're up there and challenging. If you turn around and no offence, I think of teams who are kind of languishing towards the bottom, and you think of a Hull KR or a Toronto. Let's imagine Toronto getting their act together and winning a load of games. Somebody like Wigan end up losing a couple of players through injury, and Toronto end up becoming Super League champions. It'd be great for the sport in the future. It might be great for the sport short term, but you'd always be thinking it doesn't sit right.
Yeah, I seen talk of potentially holding a grand final down at Spurs instead.
They're going to have to do something
because
because
the stadium, Kev. It's going to they get about 30,000. They're tops, if that.
That's it. Unfortunately, they're going to have to keep it. They're going to have to keep it in the north. They're going to have to find somewhere in the north to hold it. And if it means taking it to a smaller stadium, because we can't have Old Trafford on the day that we can, I know we're presuming here, then that'd have to be it. But there's no point taking it somewhere kind of too far away, especially, as you say, if people have paid out for home tickets, away tickets, and all of a sudden you've got playoffs on top of you, you've got travel, you've got your sustenance, and you've got your tickets to pay for, people won't be able to afford it.
I'm going to get back to where we started here by saying about how can we even talk about the season starting again, because obviously we don't know if it's going to be right off. If it was to start again, I can't see any, with the weeks lost, I can't see any other option but getting rid of loop fixtures, playoffs and grand final, and just playing everybody once home and away. But even then, what did Toronto do? Their players can't even get back into the country. Never mind the opposition.
That's it. I mean, yeah, what are they going to do? Are they just going to have to play all away games this season? Then what happens to the fans of Toronto who go over there? Because they regularly get, up to 10,000 fans at Lamport. So how fair is that on them? I know Catalan? Catalan as well.
Catalan do? If their restrictions haven't been eased, well, they've got a lot of French players where they're going to be based. They're not going to come and stay in England, are they?
No, that's it. It is a bit crazy. And we might get to the point, I know we've been asked a question on this, we might get to a point if we do run into winter that Toronto won't be able to play at home. They will have to play all the away games, and they might come to an agreement with, they've done it once at Warrington, they might come to an agreement with Warrington, Salford, Saints, like people who, well, maybe not Salford, people who actually have their own ground and it's a single-use ground, but turn around and say, right, we're going to go and play there, we're going to go and play at Widnes, we're going to kind of hire out the stadium and just use it, but have the rest of the season over there.
Nearly 18 minutes for us to say we've not got a clue.
Yeah, it's just standard, that, isn't it?
So we'll just keep waiting and see. We'll probably have the same discussion again and again and again. But yeah, so that's what's been going on in Rugby League this week. Anything else? No.
No.
Okay. Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you during the week where we'll be looking at a greatest 17 and answering some more of your questions. Catch you soon. Cheers, Kev.
Stay
safe.
You too.